you're right. 73% of parents feel that they are equally, if not more, productive working from home, and the reason for that is flexible schedules. Right, it's the primary reason. They feel that they can balance their life a little bit better. So, for example, you can put the younger children down, and maybe there's nap time, and then you can schedule your workload there, or maybe after dinner, or maybe a little bit earlier before the kids wake up. It kind of forces you to have more control over things there. And when you're in the office, you really don't have too much of that because of other things like commuting and so on and so forth. So, having that flexibility is great. And then in turn, you can then have that time with your family and children and so on and so forth. So it's really about that work-life balance that you can really take more advantage of versus being in an actual location. Why email so high? Well, the first thing is that email is a communication channel that's not an on-demand type of video conferencing. And just as a sidebar, there was a time where marketers felt that email was not going to be the communication channel anymore, right? But in the deliverability world, we knew that email would always stand strong. So they felt that SMS may take over, instant messaging, and other media. So, however, we see that email's on top. And the reason why is because instant messaging and other forms of communication tend to be more interrupting, more intrusive, right? So if you think about that Slack conversation, that conversation may never end and you cannot be productive with that. It's kind of like the same on-demand video conferencing. With email, it gives you more control over your schedule, your time, checking your email, and when you respond. So this also allows you to get more done versus being on these calls. You ever had a video conference call or even an in-person conference that could have been handled with email, but because it's so easy to push that button and say, well, I can get this person on my screen, they use it. So additionally, or secondary, the phone communication also has that same effect. So this is the reason why you're seeing email so high, and you're seeing, all this, the correlating information here between the video conferencing and email, and why it's a communication method that's more preferred, and you're seeing it more.
Do you think if you did this survey like a couple of months from now, that number would be significantly higher at this point, or?
Absolutely, because I think, again, we're going back to I think we are already abused meetings in general, right? Now we're just going to take it to a whole nother level. And then on top of that, we're still stuck inside. So we're going to have more of these meetings. And I would think that number would shoot up, if not even maybe another 40% in the next few months because of where we are today. Yeah, absolutely. And I thought this was interesting as well. And this made perfect sense to me. So nearly half of American workers say they know their coworkers better than when they were in the office. And then nearly 60% of parents reported feeling closer to their colleagues as they bond over things such as homeschooling children, adjusting work schedules due to lack of childcare, and even occasional guest appearances of those pets or children, or someone's running across the street, or sometimes the cat I've seen it where it was on a call with a client the other day, and their cat just came right on in and just started touching the screen and everything else. So, and then you also see the background of your office because it gives you more of a understanding of who that person is. You see people every day at work. You hear about the children, you hear about pets, you hear about what their interests are, but seeing it, which is another means of sensory that is pretty powerful sight, that brings that bond together. And that's the reason why it's actually not surprising to me to see the numbers and results that we have so far.
And maybe this helps to explain this, because quite honestly, when I was looking at this the first time around, I was like, are you kidding me? 93% feel like brands are hitting it out the park on the messaging. I was like, ugh. But you have an answer for this. You have a theory for why this is the case.
Absolutely. So yeah, we can see clearly that 93% of consumers feel that most brands were striking the right tone with emails, especially when we talk about COVID, and despite the increase of focus on COVID from brands related to safety, that was a large percentage of it. Just COVID related emails in general, because brands understand that connection means everything when it comes to their consumers, especially through email, because email is it's a conversation. I always say that email is a two-way conversation. So if you're just sending out information and you're not really relating or targeting or creating really relevant content, your email, it's pointless. So I think with COVID, it was very relevant for everyone. So hence the reason why I think they are really sending out the right communication. We care, we understand, and we're here for you. Now, what's interesting is that 66% of consumers, they still want the email offers. Thank you for telling me about COVID. Thank you for understanding. And now I want to engage more because the fact that you care, and we're trapped at home. Everyone's buying online. So they want to receive those offers and those from those brands. And they want to understand exactly what those discounts look like. Because I can tell you right now, most of the companies that have an online presence, they're doing amazing because of the fact everyone's ordering something. I have to tell my wife, stop ordering from Amazon. Stop it. You just want to hit that button, and literally every day something comes here. My doorbell rings and there's a package, and it's just not my household. I've spoken to many. And so because the brick and mortar's kind of, gone away for right now, the email really is what drives traffic to a website. So if you get an email about an offer that is relevant and it's engaging, then that's going to drive back that customer to your website, where they're going to purchase and purchase and purchase. I can tell you, I have had countless conversations during even I did freelance deliverability for a while, and every client that I would talk to, even now, engagement is important. Engagement drives your something called email reputation. And so if your reputation is actually really good, your chances of you reaching the subscriber into their inbox, not their spam folder, heightened. It's a heightened situation there. So I absolutely agree that they should continue with the same enthusiasm, the same strategy, the same energy that they have now, and that in itself will drive the traffic and the revenue that they want. Now, them going back to the old ways, I think that because they're seeing such great responses, I think more and more people are going to understand why engagement matters, why reputation matters, why they need to keep sending those very well thought out emails versus the batch and blast method, which previously was the thing to do before COVID. So, once we start seeing once they start seeing the results of things, this is the direction I think or hope people will take. But that will be left to that'll be up to everyone else to see. I can tell you that there's great learnings here, but it's really going to depend on the individual. And just as a thought again, with that, I recommend always engage. Whatever you're doing now, continue, because this is what's going to keep your brand alive. This is what's going to build the trust with the subscriber and your customers. This is what's going to drive conversions and open rates. And that's where the meat is. That's exactly where you want to be.